She was different. The confidence she had worn like armor seemed to have vanished, replaced with something softer, more vulnerable. It was as though she was a woman torn between two worlds, unsure of which one she should embrace. Ballistic didn't look at her. He couldn't. His eyes were fixed on the floor as he stood up slowly, his body tense with anger and confusion. "Why, Joseline?" he asked, his voice tight with frustration. "Why now? Why him? After everything we've been through?" Joseline took a deep breath, her eyes clouded with uncertainty. She walked toward him, but kept a careful distance. "It's not what you think, Ballistic," she started, her voice soft but strained. "Stevie and I, we've been talking. He's been there for me in ways that you don't understand. I've never stopped caring for him. He's the father of my daughter, and there's always been this connection between us." Ballistic's jaw clenched. "Caring for him? Joseline, you were about to marry me. We were building something together. You promised me you were done with that chapter in your life." Joseline's eyes darted to the floor. She seemed caught between guilt and a longing for something she couldn't quite name. "I never wanted to hurt you, I swear, but you don't know what it's like. How deep that history runs between me and Steve. It's not just about him and me, it's about my daughter, my family." Ballistic exhaled sharply, the frustration building up inside of him until he couldn't hold it in anymore. "You think I don't understand family? You think I don't get that he's the father of your child? But that doesn't mean you have to throw away everything we built, Joseline. You promised me that we were moving forward, that you were ready for a real future with me." The silence between them grew thick and suffocating. Joseline's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't say anything. She had no words left that could undo what had already been done. Ballistic could see the internal struggle in her eyes, the battle between the man she once loved and the one she was trying to build a future with. "I don't know how to trust you anymore," Ballistic said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. The words tasted bitter in his mouth, but they were the truth. He didn't know where to go from here. His heart had been ripped out, and all he could do was stand there, trying to make sense of a love that had twisted and turned in ways he hadn't expected. Joseline reached for him, but Ballistic stepped back. Just don't, Joseline. I need space. I need time to figure this out. I can't just pretend like everything is fine, like I'm okay with this. You need to figure out what you want. You need to figure out who you really are, because right now, I don't know the woman standing in front of me." Joseline's face crumbled. She tried to speak, but no words came out. The weight of Ballistic's words hit her harder than anything Stevie had ever said or done. For the first time, she realized that she had lost something real, something that couldn't be replaced. She had made a decision, but in doing so, she had lost the one person who had truly seen her, who had truly cared for her in a way that Stevie never had. Ballistic turned away, the finality of his actions setting in. He couldn't look at her anymore. He couldn't look at the woman who had once been his world, now slipping away with every decision she made. As he walked toward the door, he paused for a moment, glancing back at Joseline one last time. "Goodbye, Joseline," he said softly, his heart heavy with grief. "I hope you find what you're looking for, but it's not with me." And with that, Ballistic beats left. Joseline stood in the living room, her heart in pieces. She had reached for the past, and now the future she had once dreamed of seemed more distant than ever. In the days that followed, Ballistic kept his distance, trying to process the whirlwind of emotions that consumed him. But deep down, he knew one thing for sure. He couldn't go back to what had been. Not after all the promises that had been broken, not after the trust that had been shattered. Joseline had chosen her past, and in doing so, she had lost her fear-wrenching shock that hit him square in the chest one evening. The news spread quickly, rippling through the social media landscape like wildfire. Joseline Hernandez, his fiancée, had rekindled her relationship with her ex-boyfriend, StevieJ. It was a bombshell, one that seemed to hit harder, because it wasn't just gossip or rumors. Joseline had made it public. She had posted a picture with Stevie on Instagram, a simple caption that hinted at their renewed connection. For Ballistic, that single post shattered the reality they had built together. The betrayal stung. It stung deeper than he expected, cutting through the tough exterior he had so carefully constructed. It felt like a cruel twist of fate, a sick joke at his expense. The woman he loved, who had promised to be different, to move on from the toxic cycles of her past, had returned to the one person who had hurt her most, StevieJ, the man who had caused her heartbreak, the one who had been a constant fixture in her life, whether through love or chaos. Ballistic sat on the couch of their shared apartment, the weight of the news pressing down on him. He stared at his phone screen, watching the comments flood in on Joseline's post. Some fans celebrated the reunion, while others, like him, were left dumbfounded. How could she? How could Joseline, who had always been so strong, so independent, fall back into the arms of a man like StevieJ? He scrolled through the comments again, each one cutting a little deeper, each word from their followers adding to the rising storm in his chest. Some people spoke about love, about second chances, but Ballistic couldn't see it that way. This wasn't a second chance. This was history repeating itself, unpredictable, uncontrollable, and cruel. His phone buzzed, and he saw that it was a text from Joseline. Ballistic's heart skipped a beat, and a lump formed in his throat. He knew what this was. She was trying to explain, trying to ease the situation, but he wasn't ready for that. Not yet. Not until he could find a way to untangle the web of emotions that had ensnared him. Minutes felt like hours as he waited. His mind raced through everything he had been feeling over the past few months. The highs, the lows, the moments of doubt, but nothing could have prepared him for the truth that was about to hit